Earlier in this bulletin, we told you that the authorities in Sierra Leone are treating last weekend's attacks on some military formations and prisons as an attempt at seizing control of the reins of the government. For an update on that situation in that country, we're now being joined from the capital, Freetown, by journalist Lawrence Williams, the editor of Freetown Post newspapers. Thank you for joining us. Good to have you on Newsday with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me too.
Well, could you give us a brief update of how things are on ground right now in the country?
Well, of course, we all know there is already a manhunt going on for those who have been declared wanted by the state. And there is a wanted list out already in the public. And the list contains names of individuals whom the government has termed fugitives for actions or their connections or links to the Sunday uprising, if I will put it that way. And just yesterday, the information minister declared government position, stating that the government has determined that the attacks on the military barracks, the breach of the central prison facility, and everything that happened on that day amounted to a failed attempted coup. And most of the individuals who are on the wanted list of the government are military generals. Some are very senior officials or serving members of the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces. Others are retired serving personnel in both the ALCLAS, that is the Army, and that of the Sierra Leone Police. Just yesterday, the Joint Command Team were able to apprehend a suspect who participated in their opinion or in their view, participated in the Sunday attack. And he was hiding in one of the residents at Moretown, where we have one of the second largest military barracks as well. And besides the manhunt for these fleeing renegades and those who have been declared fugitives, there is also a hunting expedition for the more than 1,000 prisoners who were let loose from the central prison facilities. Some of them are voluntarily returned, but it is way below 200. And we had about 1,800 and more prisoners in that facility before the attack. So there is a kind of, call it security threat in the atmosphere, because some of those criminals are very dangerous. Some were serving life sentences. Others were on trial, while others were on remand awaiting trial. And in addition to that, yesterday late evening, we had reports of another apprehension of one of the fleeing renegades around the outskirts of Freetown, that is Jue, where gunshots were reportedly fired. And again, the government authorities have reported to us that the death toll on Sunday is about 20. Or stands at 20. That includes one local journalist from Canadian origin. It is not yet clear, though I must say that it's not yet very clear as to the circumstances surrounding the journalist's death. And the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists has already requested for a postmortem to be carried out to determine the cause of death and whether or not it has a link to the incident on Sunday. So we're yet to determine or conclude whether in fact it was in a crossfire or, as initial reports indicated, he died of heart attack, but the postmortem will actually have to establish that. And so far so good, things are relatively calm a bit. Some shops or many businesses in fact remain closed. Some schools as well remain closed. The incidents yesterday at Moretown, the exchange of firing led to created some panic within the central business district of the capital, and school pupils, businesses, people were running helter-skelter, other businesses were forced to close down, There have been a reschedule of the banking hours, and of course, there is also a curfew in place from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And so these are generally the updates so far on the situation in Sierra Leone. There are reports that the national organizing secretary of the opposition, All People's Congress, has been arrested. And that's why the ministry is yet to come up with a clarification on that, but that report is floating everywhere. And again, some of those who died on Sunday, some of them included senior military generals, and some of those who are injured, particularly military generals, are responding to treatment at the military hospital at Wilberforce.
Well, Lawrence, can you give us an idea of what the mindset of an avid Sierra Leonean is at the moment? Do they have confidence in the government? Are they confident in the ability of security agencies to keep them safe and protect them, especially from the criminals that are on the run?
Well, in fact, there is this growing public concern regarding the effectiveness and efficiency of the government, the whole security architecture in terms of their intelligence gathering, their information analysis, and everything. Besides, the government has already put a bounty on the heads of fugitives and prisoners who are on the run. They are offering about 2,000, the equivalent of $2,500 for information that will lead to the arrest of any or all of the fugitives. And they are also offering nearly $500 for information that will lead to the arrest or recapture of prisoners who are on the run. Generally, the security situation is a bit stable, but the fear and panic still engulfs society. Many people are questioning the intent, the motive behind this attack, particularly when we were just coming from a very tense election and following all the disputes surrounding the elections, which culminated into an internationally mediated dialogue between the government and the opposition. And that dialogue paved the way for the opposition to now drop its stance of non-participation in governance. So they started participating in governance at all levels, at parliamentary level, local councils, etc. And just few weeks after the return of the opposition, we saw this happened on Sunday. So generally, of course, there is fear, there is panic among Sierra Leoneans, and many people remain doubtful as to the protection, the guarantee of civilian safety and security. But shockingly, just yesterday, also, we received a letter from the U.S. Senate members, or the chairman of the Sub-Appropriation Committee of the U.S. Senate, wrote to the board of directors and chairperson of the Millennium Challenge Corporation, asking some questions, casting doubt as to whether the MCC should proceed with the signing of Sierra Leone's compact, which is around $450 million. They are stating that democracy is backsliding in the country, and that should actually be a cause for concern for the MCC board to reverse its decision. The government has not yet reacted to that news, but we've received the letter, particularly the press, and we wait to see what the government will come up with. But generally, the information ministry is giving updates almost every day, but very late in the afternoon. So wait to see what updates they will put out again today.
All right, then. And in terms of the coup plotters, or the ones who have been caught at least, I know that there's a manhunt going on. In a statement a couple of days back, President Madabayo said that the attacks, those who were responsible for the attacks would be accepting accountability through due process. And what exactly could that mean for those who've already been captured?
Well, of course, the police have started their investigation, and this is expected to take a while because we all know to investigate a failed attempted coup is not an easy job. And the due process, of course, is, I believe the president was actually referring to the established procedures in the Constitution through police investigations, the Attorney General Minister of Justice's office, and that of the Department of Public Prosecution and the court as well. Due process also involves guaranteeing the presumption of innocence of those who have been accused as per Section 23 of the Constitution. It also means that they should have access to fair trial, having legal representatives, etc. And so, of course, the due process will unfold, and we're going to monitor to see the unfolding events in the days and weeks and months ahead. But by and large, some of those arrested and have been said to have association with the opposition, All People's Congress Party. The APC had already put out a press release distancing itself from the incident, from the failed coup attempt. They've also condemned the entirety of the attack, and they are also calling for a fair, impartial, and speedy investigation into all of these. Meanwhile, some of those included in the fugitive list or in the wanted list are some of the former ministers of the past government, the past APC government. So at this time, it is not clear or safe to say whether they were acting on the tacit approval or in the know of their political party. It has not been established. I must say that. What is very clear is that some of them were associates, were members, either registered members or sympathizers or aides of the former president and the opposition All People's Congress Party.
Well, Sierra Leonean journalist Lawrence Williams, thank you so much for joining us on Newsday.